My name is Medusa. Many of you know me as a monster. Am I really? Well, this is my story.
For thousands of years, the world has remembered Medusa as a monster. But her story did not always begin with snakes, or stone, or death. Before the monster, there was Medusa. One later version of the myth takes us to the sacred world of Athena, goddess of wisdom and war. And it is here that Medusa's story begins to take a much darker turn. Medusa was said to possess extraordinary beauty. And among all her features, storytellers remembered her magnificent hair. But beauty has a dangerous way of attracting attention. And Medusa attracted the attention of a god, Poseidon, god of the sea, brother of Zeus, one of the most powerful beings in the Greek world. And his gaze had fallen upon Medusa. What followed would become one of the darkest parts of her legend. Centuries after the earliest Greek stories of Medusa, the Roman poet Ovid told a different version. In his telling, Poseidon violated Medusa inside Athena's sacred temple. And when the storm passed, Poseidon was gone. Medusa remained. Then came Athena. And in Ovid's telling, Athena's wrath did not fall upon Poseidon. It fell upon Medusa. The woman who had entered the temple would not leave it unchanged. The hair for which Medusa had once been admired began to move. And then, one strand became something alive. One by one, her locks became living serpents. Her eyes changed. Her reflection changed. But beneath the curse, Medusa was still there. And when she finally saw what she had become, the woman staring back was almost a stranger. But the serpents were not the most terrifying part of her transformation. Her gaze itself had become a weapon. Those who looked directly upon her became stone. Whether she wished to harm them or not, Medusa could no longer safely live among ordinary people. So she left. Beyond the cities, beyond the temples, beyond the familiar world. Medusa disappeared into exile. But Medusa was not the only Gorgon. She had two sisters, Athena and Euryale. And unlike Medusa, her sisters were immortal. Medusa alone could die. And as the years passed, stories traveled farther than Medusa ever did.
Her gaze turns men to
Stories of a
stone.
creature with serpents for
Beware
hair,
her wrathful shadows.
whose eyes could kill with a
Pray you
glance.
never see her.
With every retelling, the woman faded, and the monster grew. Then came Perseus, a young hero given a task that should have meant certain death. He was commanded to bring back the head of Medusa. But no ordinary warrior could simply walk into the Gorgon's home. Perseus would need help from the gods. Among the gifts he received was Athena's polished shield, a surface bright enough to serve as a mirror, and that would change everything. Armed with divine gifts, Perseus traveled beyond the familiar world, through hostile lands, toward the place where the Gorgons lived. And eventually, he found them. Three sisters, Athena, Euryale. Between the immortals, Medusa, the only one Perseus could kill. Perseus knew that one mistake would end everything, so he never looked directly at Medusa. Instead, he watched her reflection. He raised his blade, found the angle, and waited, and then he struck. But death was not the end of Medusa's story. From Medusa came two children of Poseidon, Chrysaor, and one of Greek mythology's most famous creatures, Pegasus, the winged horse. Even after her death, Medusa's power remained. Her image became the Gorgonian, a protective symbol that appeared throughout the ancient Greek world. And the face once feared as monstrous became an image used to frighten evil itself. But there is something important to remember about Medusa. There was never just one version of her story. In some of the oldest Greek traditions, Medusa and her sisters were Gorgons from the beginning. Centuries later, Ovid gave the world the tragic transformation story that many people know today.
Beware
And
her
over
wrathful
thousands of
shadows.
years, artists,
Pray you never
poets,
see her.
and storytellers transformed Medusa again and again. A monster, a victim, a warning, a protector. Perhaps that is why Medusa survived when so many ancient stories were forgotten. Because the question of what makes someone a monster has never had a simple answer.
So what do you think? Am I what you thought of me?
The ancient Primordial. Stories humanity never forgot.